Okay.
You know, either me or her gonna be calling you guys.
Let me know.
Okay.
Everybody. Thank you.
Y'all got the dates already or no? You're still working on it?
Let me invite people that I couldn't remember to tag like a weirdo. I do this all the time. It's going to come to you after it's over. You're going to be like, oh, I didn't tag such and so.
Oh, so wait, how can I tag you while I'm in it?
Did you start it yet?
No.
Okay, let me see your phone.
Oh, the 3 dots.
Nope, that's not allowed.
What you want? Let me see. Which one you want? Instagram?
No,
you got it on,
Facebook.
right?
What? Yeah, it's on.
See how to tag. Let me see. How you gonna do it?
Right there, babe. Where the little
Remember we
face
had
is.
the...
Okay.
Hey, everybody. We're getting started. Can you guys see? Yep, they're here. Okay. You guys can wave. All right. Hey, everybody. We're getting started. Can you guys see? Yep, they're here. Hey, everybody. This is Z. We are here. Let me make sure everything is started. What happened? You should come in for a second. I don't want to hear something wrong. This is not weird here. Give us a couple minutes if we get started. You see Kim in it? You see that's not?
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, okay. Let's see, I'm going to be up here. Thank you.
Here.
I just didn't want to hear anything wrong. Okay.
Good for you, right?
You see me smile?
Brother.
Thank you. All right. Hey, everybody. How are you? This is your girl, Zarina. Hey, Ira. We are here with Talk on the Walk Radio. We have Kim. Let me turn it. Kim Warren in the house. And we have Shayna and Jonathan. So they are the cast. Here's Kim. So they're cast of, I'm trying to slide it over. I should have put 2 phones. But they are the cast of, say the name of your play against us.
More Than Meets the Eye.
More Than Meets the Eye, and they are here to, they are more than what meets the eye. They are here to share their stories as well as their testimony. Everybody, you know, we get to see people and they share their gift, but there's always a testimony behind that, and God does all things well. He normally connects us to something or some kind of way that relates to our story. So we're going to just pretty much get started and just jump on because there's a lot to do today. We have a lot of guests. We have Divine Warren in the house. Up next is him and Ira. Hey, T, as one. So, hey, how are you, Jonathan? So, Sister Kim, you are up first. Scripture today is James 4, 6, and 10. We'll go through that later with them all together. But I just want to get started because I felt like all of your stories were really impactful. And can you shut that for me, Dave? So I wanted to make sure that you are able to share. So how I was going to go is we're going to do like boy, girl, boy. Girl, boy, girl. Because I was like, how I'm putting in order just how the Holy Spirit gave it. But you guys are all able to kind of chime in. If we get to a question and it's for everybody, we'll just go that way. So Kim, starting with you. Can you share a little bit with us, just a little bit about your story growing up and coming into your own? Can you share your story a little bit? Can you guys see that they can see you now?
So basically, I was raised in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Father was a pastor, mother was an evangelist.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty much born on a pew. And that kind of cultivated my foundation as far as my love for God.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much grew up in a church named Nothing But the Word, and that's where I really got my foundation.
Amen.
And it also set the tone for me working in the arts, the creative arts. I started working with the youth ministry and the drama ministry there, and from that point, that's what grew my love for
Amen.
arts.
And so I had a question for you because you said that you were a PK kid, and we hear a lot of that, which is beautiful, but everybody has that aha moment where it goes from your parents' faith to now it's your faith, and then it's your relationship. Like, it's like that process. So what was that for you? Like, what was that shift for you to know that Jesus was real for yourself and not just somebody that your father was necessarily preaching about on Sunday?
So in my younger age, we went to like a Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you learn about God, but pretty much like you read the Bible that said, like, I didn't know God as being alive.
Mm-hmm.
And then we transitioned to Nothing But the Word. And I remember being in services, and it was like people were so happy and they were dancing, and it was just like the power of God. Like, you knew something was going on, but I just didn't know
what it was.
And I'm like, all right, I gotta get to know why everybody's so hyped and figure it out. And it was through that process of just kind of seeing like other young people on fire for God, because like I always feel like old people just love Jesus, but
Right. That's
but
what they do.
seeing like younger people like really loving God and really trying to get to know
Mhm.
God, that's what really made the difference in my life. And of course, you know, regular life situations where it's like, oh man, I need somebody to help
Mm.
me, and that's what, you know, made me really pull on God.
And I think that's funny because you said old people always love God. That's kind of like what you think. Like, you know, this church is for mothers, and you know, we just go there to get. I used to go for the meal and see my grandma usher,
In between
and then it came real for me. Like, I just used to be hyped because my grandma was, you know, you feel like you know a star when they march in, like, but it wasn't nothing major now that I know. But I love that. But when you shared that so you talked about how it became real, but then you began your relationship when you actually went through something with school. So you were RN, and you were, you know, you said you went to school, but you failed your boards. So what happened with that?
I went to school for LPN.
LPN, okay.
And I was one of the top of my class. I actually got like, you know, scholarships
Mm.
afterwards and stuff like that. And I went to take my boards and I failed.
Wow.
So in my mind, I wasn't prepared for that because like
Mhm.
I've been getting A's and B's the whole time, and like as far as academically, I'm pretty
Right.
focused. So when I failed, I remember I locked myself in my room
Mhm.
and I didn't come out. Like, well, I don't even know how I stayed in there all day, but I stayed in there all day, and then that's when my first bout with kind of like depression
Yeah.
kind of came in, because it's embarrassing. Like, it's like, hey, everybody, I'm taking my boards.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they've been encouraging you the whole 2 years, and then you fail, and then you gotta see like all your other colleagues passing
Wow,
and
uh-huh.
things like that. So that was emotionally hard for me, and it's kind of like everybody was like, well, why didn't you go back to take your boards and stuff like that? And it was like, well, when I looked up, it was 6 months later. Like,
Mhm.
I didn't
Wow.
even realize
That all that time had passed.
the time had passed. And so then it was another battle, but I honestly believe that it didn't work for a reason, because I
Mhm.
tried to go to LPN school before, had a full scholarship, it didn't work out. Went back again the second time, failed my boards. And like, I just feel like God has a way of nudging
Mhm.
you
To let
into
you know.
certain
Mhm.
situations. And I used to always say, oh, I'm going to be a nurse because I want to help people, because I want to help people.
Mhm.
But even in this field now, I realize even through the arts, you can
Mhm.
help people in a different way.
Absolutely.
So it
Absolutely.
was during that time, like, I kind of had to get a hold of my situation
Mhm.
and just really seek God and really try to find out who He was and
Yeah.
try to climb out of that dark place. And it's points like that that I can write from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if you look at my shows, you probably wouldn't be able to trace where I am in there,
Mhm.
but I'm always somewhere in the
Mhm.
show. And that's what I think makes it believable, you know?
And that's true. I mean, because the name of the show is called Talking the Walk. And people, I always tell people all the time, like, you get excited for a platform, and this is ministry for me. And every single thing that God has me talking about, I'm living it.
Right.
Everything that somebody's talking about here, they live it. This is literally our life. Our life is our worship. But we've all met God in that broken place.
Yeah.
And so you have to be very careful to want something that you might not be able to handle. Like, for some people, they may not be able to come back from that place because they take it, you know, the enemy's real crafty, and he likes to make us feel like we're nothing, and that shame and that guilt comes in, and they don't come back. And a lot of people don't run to God, they run away from him.
right.
And so God allows things for a reason, but he gives it to you because he knows that you can handle it, but somebody else can. But they want that, and they don't realize what you have to go through to get it.
Right.
So depression is really real. I know for a fact there in the church is really kind of like a cliche in the black church or in the black family. Like, you don't say you're depressed, or you don't say that, and it's real. So what advice would you give to somebody that may be struggling with that, especially now knowing that God was shifting you and he had another plan despite of you not knowing at that moment? But what advice would you give to somebody, because depression is real prevalent and it's real? So what advice would you give to someone?
I would say be honest with where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of people try to like camouflage, and they're like, oh no, I'm good,
Mhm.
even
Yes, they do.
internally, like, I'm good, like, and it came to a point where it's like, nah, you're not actually good.
Mhm.
Like, and to me, I wasn't a person to scream from the mountaintops what I was going to, but I knew who to connect to. And you know, them old people that love Jesus sometimes.
Yo, you still on the old people. She cracking me.
I had to pull on them sometimes, and I remember I would go to shut-ins. And I know I went in a season and I would literally go there to cry. I know they
Wow.
say you supposed to pray, but it was a season where I just had to get it all out. And I wept and I cried and I just was honest with everything that had transpired. And I feel like you cannot get over depression, you can't get over suicide, you can't get over anything until you are honest with
Absolutely.
where you are and give it to God. And that's what I would recommend. And then once you're open and you're clear, put the word on it. Because
Speak the word of your life.
the word is what's really going to pull you through. I spent times where I would say at 3:00, this is God's time. My phone is going off, TV's going off. I don't care who it is. This is our time, and I would make divine appointments to just lay on my face, talk to him, do whatever I needed to do, and that had to carry me through. I mean, I can't do it. It's not for this season right now, but in that season, I had to be mindful of when it was time to like pull aside and really seek his face.
That was your preparation season. And what people don't understand is that everybody has a process. Jesus was prepared 30 years for a 3-year ministry that carried over greater works that we are doing, but it's through him that we do it. But it was still a preparation season. Some people got 30 years, some people got 3. Like, I had to kind of get that in my spirit. Like, Lord, all these people have been doing ministry all this time, and I'm only doing it for this, and you sending me out. But if we don't get to determine our process, he knows when you're ready. But everybody has a process, and he secludes you by yourself, and he'll lay you on your face. And so it's actually funny that you spoke about speaking the word, because that's one thing he told me about speaking the word over my life. Jesus defeated the enemy with the word of God. So the definition of failure, I actually put it here. See how Holy Spirit be working? The definition of fail is to be unsuccessful in achieving one's goal. Per, Google, that's what they say. But what would you say now, and knowing how God has spoken into your life and called you successful and called you his daughter, what would you say is, what word would you use to define yourself now based off of that season? And, the enemy tried to speak failure over your life, but God was speaking something else. What word would you use now to define yourself?
I would say I'm humble. Honestly,
that's good,
because when you don't view yourself in a certain light and someone comes and shows you like who you actually are, just stemming from a child, like I've always battled with low self-esteem, not feeling worthy or worth it, or like I was an introvert. I kept to myself. I was a loner. I was happy with it. I was a loner. You know what I mean? But different things kind of attached to that. And I feel like him shining that light and like, you got this. You're good. You're anointed. Like, people actually recommend it. Like, you're not the only one who notices you're anointed. Because people be like, oh, I'm anointed, everybody hating or whatever. But you, this may not be.
That's
right
not the old folks,
anointing.
is it? They not saying that, is it?
It might not. It might not be exactly where God called you. So it's good when people could say like, yeah, you really on to something. God really anointed you for this. So I'm humble for everything that he's doing.
Absolutely.
It may not be big to anybody else, but I'm thankful.
So now you're here. You're in this season of sharing your heart through the arts and helping other people to be able to share theirs and connecting what they've gone through pretty much to their character, because they pretty much, their life connects to it. So share a little bit about your new play, or a little bit about your production company as well, and how you actually were able to kind of go deeper in your worship through that, because every time we're writing, he's doing something in us. So share a little bit about your company, and then also right now as far as the new play.
So our production company is Kim S. Warren Productions, and what I am aiming to do is to build up the local community within the Burlington County area. So a lot of times Philly is built up, New York is built up, everybody had their go-to areas to go to, but artists in Burlington County is kind of like, where do I, give my gift back? You know what I mean? For people who want to take their ministry to a higher level, like it's cool to do it in church, but what happens if I want to do this for the kingdom, for God? So I want to open up that platform in that area and create events where it's clean, it's fun, and it's consistent. So that's what I'm striving to do. And even as I write in different capacities, like we have the play going on now, I'm working on a monologue night, I'm working on a book, whatever
That's
capacities I'm working in, there's a certain level of healing that is kind of released when I write. So one of my plays, Retreat, I had dealt with like a broken heart. And so one of the characters, I kind of like the emotional abuse she went through, that was kind of like my character that I pinned through, and everything that she dealt with and things like that. So that was my kind of healing that I released through that with one of the shows, Family Blues. It was like that internal dysfunction in families that nobody can talk about, but everybody knows it's there. So there's always a piece of me that is kind of healed
at the same time
as I write, and then it's like overcoming by the word of our the blood of the Lamb, and the word of our testimony. So even as I write, I'm testifying of what God can do. You know what I mean? And I like it because not everybody's going to go to a church. But some people will sit down and watch you play, and while you worry about the plot, I'm giving you Jesus, and you like, oh well, you know, you didn't even realize that the seed has been planted. You know what I mean? And then it's even just creating a good time. You know what I mean?
I think that's where but the church fails, but Kingdom does not. Kingdom understands that healing needs to take place before anything else. Like, God deals with us before he sends us out to deal with other people. But a lot of people want to get out there and deal with other people, and they don't want to deal with themselves. Right. And so somebody that has a kingdom mindset, that has a relationship with God, they understand that it needs to start with them, and they take that season and then they give it to other people. So that's kind of like, that's what you're doing. I think that's great because, again, you understand kingdom, and you understand that we are here to help heal other people, but you can't tell somebody to do something or live something that you're not living. Right. Because we are like, they ain't going to go to the Bible first. We can be their first Bible. We can be their first scripture. Bible says we are there for Christ's ambassadors, or we're living examples. Well, how is that? Because they're going to watch you. If you saying live for Jesus, but they see you acting crazy and turning up and whatever case may be, why would I go to a Jesus that you don't even want to follow, right? Like, you really have to understand it. But you also have to understand when you say yes to that, what comes with it. And so I think that it's awesome that you're still doing that, because I'm sure that it's a lot of spiritual warfare, because you're bringing all of this into that territory where the enemy loves to play. So I think that's a beautiful thing. Where can they find your where can they find about your I call it a ministry. I call everything ministry, y'all. But where can they find about your production company, aka ministry? And tell them where they can find us. Just make sure they can go to the page.
So on Facebook, you could go to Kim S. Warren Productions. Also on Instagram, Kim S. Warren Productions. And there I give updates. You can look and see the most recent trailer that we just released for the play. It gives you a tidbit on what you're going to experience with the show. There's also old clips that we've done from previous shows. So it's not something that we just trying to do, like, you know, in your mama's basement. Like, we trying to do it in excellence.
In excellence.
You know
Amen.
what I mean? Everything for the kingdom don't have to be at the bottom. Like, we can be at the top. And
y'all ain't got to be standing looking like y'all standing on your phone.
Right. You know what I mean? Like,
people edit stuff.
Yeah, and
they do.
That's the
Good God Almighty.
That's the amazing thing. God has even connected me up to people that work in film and things like that, and just want to invest their time and their resources. You know what I mean? And that's what happens when you step out on faith.
Listen,
and God will give you
I
favor.
understand. This is faith. This is a faith season for you. Y'all don't know. Like, I left my 9 to 5. I told you, and God said start a production company. It was just a talk show. I didn't know what he was talking about, but I did it. No money saved, no nothing. And now we're at this place where I'm looking for a building. Still don't have, I might not have the finances in the bank, but I serve a God that has everything. So when he tells you to do something, you just write it out. So I'm going to temple every night. Like, Lord, I don't know how we gonna get this money, but we gonna go ahead and get this business plan. But I just watch how he continues to remind me that he's going to do it. And that's what people don't get. Like, we have a part to play. We have to God says this shall be, but he wants to see if you're going to move. And if you don't, he will deposit that into somebody else. We are very much, I have learned that we are very much replaceable. So I kind of get nervous sometimes. Like, I don't want to be like Moses and see the promised land and my replacement going. That's not fair. So if y'all got a dream, do what he says to do and just step out and do it, because he will. Jesus is the plug. I'm telling y'all, like, he will make a lane for you. They can copy you all they want to, but they don't have the favor. So favor is upon your life, and to God be the glory with that. So I am going to give some shout outs on here because people are watching. Hey, I don't even. I want to say it and scroll past it. So, y'all gotta help me. I'm not all. I think I was dropped as a child, y'all. So my mom did something. Hey, Leash. Hey, Ira. Divine Ira. Shayna, you're on. Hey, Shonda. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Tiff. What's up, Tiff? Hey, Tiara. Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for watching. What's up, bro? What's up, Prevel? Hey, Jackie. Hey, y'all, she's awesome. Y'all gotta connect with her. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome preacher. Hey, Kelsey,
Girl, you're
Sean, Jamila. What's up, Jamila? Hey, Monty. She said, hey, fam, Alicia. Hey, First Lady. My best friend's on. Halim's on. Stephanie said, hey, Shayna.
Hey, sis.
Stephanie Bradley Blue. Hey, Miss Angie. Okay. And hey, T. And hey, Kelly over in Canada. She was actually on last week. Kelly Lee. She has a ministry called Lovers Magazine. It's a really huge magazine, but she's dope. What's up, Jeff? And what's up, Lee? So don't laugh, Ira. Y'all know I don't got all my marbles. I don't even think I got one. But we're going to jump on over to Jonathan.
Oh my God.
You want to slide over? See, this is how you know what's up when the church people know how I have a voice. They sing everything. Everything. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard them vocals coming? So we're going to pull you on over. Hey, Rhonda. You just better have watch Rhonda. You don't got no choice. No, come over. Come over so they can see you. Yeah, because I can't. I want to make sure they can see all your. Yeah. All right, so we are about to get started. So, Jonathan, you're in the hot seat. You ready? You got your hot seat outfit on. You focus fly. You got it all ready. So, first thing, Jonathan, please just share a little bit of your story with us first before we jump into it. Share a little bit of your story just growing up and who you are.
Definitely a church boy. I grew up in a church home.
Okay.
My grandfather was a pastor. My father later on became a deacon of the church.
Okay.
And my mother later on became an evangelist. Well, is evangelizing.
Okay.
So, yeah, growing up, I knew acting was going to definitely be a big portion in my life. Of course, playing a role in church of singing on the praise and worship team, and singing in the choir. Sure to follow was the arts ministry. You know, you making people laugh and singing and just being like, you know, artistic in that realm. They're like, okay, we want to use you in different things. As I stated in a statement, the color purple actually was like my...
You like Celia now?
Actually, it was so crazy. That was the first, because it was the first black movie played in my home that I actually... That was played consistently.
Got you.
That actually...
I think everybody watched it all the time. Too.
Right.
Me too.
We say that's the signature black
Me too.
movie.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So... watching that movie actually ignited something within me to say, this seems kind of interesting. I like mimicking certain parts, but I noticed me mimicking certain parts actually ignited something else.
Yeah,
and then I would notice later on, we would put on different productions for like, not even productions, I'm sorry, like putting on little skits for like lunches and like family reunions and stuff like that.
So PK kid, y'all all PKs? All y'all PKs? You kind of like, yeah, but all y'all PKs. So,
life PK.
but why use the arts? Well, why use your gift to glorify God? Because we hear that a lot of times, especially a lot of secular singers. Well, I grew up in a Christian home, but I ain't want to do that. They wanted to do their own thing. So why did you choose to go ahead and use your gift to glorify God? Because you could have gone a different way.
Honestly, I did go over to the secular world for a little bit. I went over there for a little bit because I noticed during like some of my high school years, even some of like my junior high years, that facet was expanded. You know what I mean? If that's the right verbiage for it. And I noticed the light wasn't I want to say this correctly, wasn't shining as bright on the gospel realm. So it said, you know what, this is kind of like, you know, more live on the R&B side. Let me stick over here. But as I grew up, I was like, you know what, I want to get back to my roots. I feel like there's more foundation on the spiritual side.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And with getting the knowledge of course, reading your word and like getting around people who actually are like-minded like you and actually feed that, it opens your mind up to doing different things. So that's why I was like, you know what, I want to stick in this realm and actually allow God to use me in this.
So your relationship grew.
Exactly.
It changed. So I understand that shifted. So your relationship grew. So that's perfect. So your character name is Tony. And you share that he in the play, like he suffered a lot of rejection, but you did as well.
Right.
So what were some of the things that you went through as far as rejection, and how have you been able to come there through relationship? Because rejection is something that everybody they don't. That's a part of the call. Like we don't, and that is a part of the call. But a lot of people, they don't get there and they take it personal. And I say, actually because I've done so. Right. So what have you gone through as far as rejection, and how have you been able to overcome that and use that in its character in the play?
I can honestly say jobs, different jobs, like going out for interviews and different things like that. I remember I was told because of the way that I look I wasn't going to get a job. And during the time I had locks. I had long locks.
Okay.
And I had moved down to Florida. And I'm trying to learn this new world and everything and try to get my feet wet, get out there and like do different things. And lady came in and was just like, yeah, with your look, we're not going to be able to move forward with you.
Wow. She said it to your face?
She said it to my face. So at first, I wanted to
I
say...
know, Devon. I looked at you like, dog, that's crazy.
I wanted to say a few choice words.
I'm sure.
I bet you did.
And it was nothing in the holy word of God.
And I promise you it wasn't.
Okay.
So I actually had to put my big boy boots on and actually, well, I thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to move forward now. Of course, it hurt me and broke my spirit.
Yeah.
Once I got outside, because like, God, I know what you said. You know what I mean? I am the righteousness of God. I'm a royal priesthood. I am chosen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to be
Don't
told
laugh,
that-
Tierra. Laugh at it.
to be told that, it kind of like put a damper on you, but something that was always instilled in me from like the old folks, you know what I mean? Keep going, keep moving, you know what I mean? God opens windows and doors of opportunities always, but you can't give up, keep moving forward.
And the Bible says that, I mean, if they don't, dust your feet off and keep it moving. Because I think what we don't understand, well, what we don't get in that moment is that we're sent to be a blessing. And if they don't want that, like, then it's your loss. But we take it personally, like, why not me when it's like their loss and not ours? And also, God will use it to humble you too.
Absolutely.
Because we don't, and I say we because I had a whole season, Lord, of humbling down with that pride thing. We don't realize how prideful we are. And then I look back and would look at some of my answers or the way I would say things to people like, yeah, that was pride and now I get it. So God will take all of that in order to get you to where you are today. So how was that, I guess, in that realm? How was that as far as humility goes? Like, how were you able to humble yourself and use that now? And, you know, being in the arts and having to share your gift, like, you have to still be humble to the church folk that do the same thing, that don't want you to give there because you're too, you know, you look too worldly. It's like you can't find that balance. In the world, you're too this, and if you're in church. So how have you been able to kind of, like, walk in humility with that? Because you got to have a lot of patience for that.
Definitely a prayer life. I can honestly say for me, a let out is singing. So if I'm able to just open my mouth and sing something, like even in like, you know, my quiet time, is good for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, I'm slowly but surely getting back into the realm of writing music again.
Okay.
But I know for me, like, that let out is having a prayer life. Definitely surrounding myself with family and people who keep me uplifted. You know what I'm saying? And always have something encouraged to say, because one, as a black male in society today, there's already pressure on us. You know what I'm saying? And having to deal with the workforce, relationships and different things, you know what I mean? There's already pressure on you. So definitely surrounding yourself with a spiritual life, family and friends, and my first love, music.
And reading a book I read with John Ecker called the Destroying the Spirit of Rejection, it helps you to understand like everything, pretty much a lot of things stems back to rejection. And so you say you kind of got like a lot of no's and stuff like that, and a lot of judgment. So what advice would you give to somebody, first on the realm of if somebody's rejecting them, how to deal with them, but also with how to process it and keep pressing forward? Because rejection can cause people to kind of like fall back. Like you said, like you weren't just getting back in the right and might feel like they're not good enough. Maybe I should stop singing. So what advice would you give to somebody that's dealing with that now? Because we deal with it on the day-to-day basis. What advice would you give to somebody knowing where you are now?
As I stated, I think you would definitely want to surround yourself with people that are going to celebrate you and not tolerate you, number one. Also get into a place to where you do have a relationship with the master, the good man upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Because he actually is the best artist and will give you the things that you need, especially at those moments. And one thing I would also tell someone is to always be willing to move forward no matter what. Lift your head up and move forward. It may hurt in that moment, but keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be at that moment, as you're about to give up, somebody's going to show you that opportunity that, you know what, I want to see what you made of. I want to see what you can do.
And I look at it in the realm of like, I always relate everything back to the cross. Like, they rejected Jesus all the way up to the cross, on the cross, but he kept going because he knew that he had an assignment in the earth that only he could fulfill, just like everyone in here. What we have called to do, only we could do it. Well, let me get that back. If we choose to be obedient, because if not, then God will give it to somebody else. But God wants you to do it. And so you have to keep going. And I always look at it like, if Jesus didn't do it, then where would I be? Right. So if you don't go, then it might be for that person that God, it might just be simply, I remember God made me, I'll never forget this. He told me I was going to get this job at Pico, but it didn't happen for a year. I go, they didn't hire me. And I'm like, I know he said I'm going to get this job. Get hired at this, through a tip agency. 2 people received Christ there. The minute they received Christ, he took me out of the job in a month. I used to crowd to work every day. Like, it was so cold because I had to walk like 15 minutes. And I'm like, you said you was going to give me this. And you said, he was like, I'm sending you there for certain people. He told me when I got there, I'm sending you for 2 people. They're going to come. No, he said I'm sending you for 1 person specific, but it ended up being 2. He took me right out of here, sent me right to Pico, and I got the job. But I had to learn a dose of humility that I had to go where he told me to go. And I didn't get to determine the season, but when the assignment was over, the blessing was waiting right there. Like, I went May 1st. They hired me a couple days. I was out in a month. I remember walking, it was like April. I'm like, God, look, you said, now what's going on? They received Christ. He was like, time to roll. But that was humbling for me. And so I just think about, like, if I didn't go, I don't know where their lives is. You just never know. So you just have to continue to press forward no matter what it feels like. And they rejected me. They told me no. But then he sent me right back. And then people within Pico came to Christ. So you just never know. But I had to learn humility first. So I understand it. So I want to read something that you sent me, and I wanted you to kind of break it down. Okay. So it says, facing a few no's builds a level of character within you that makes your journey that God has in store for you. Wait, no. Let me start a little bit. I'm trying to pull it in. Facing those builds a level of character within you that makes your journey worth the hassle. I feel I am a better individual and ready even the more now to embark on all that God has for you. So explain a little bit what you mean by that. Facing a few no's has built a level of character that will help you to press forward in your journey.
I think as we progress in life, the older we get, you're going to face different things. Mm-hmm. And it's up to your not only spiritual maturity, but your maturity within itself to handle those things. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say, going back, again, not trying to sound like a broken record, with actually surrounding myself with people who actually could tell me, like, yo, you need to get your stuff together. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Check me to where I can, like, okay, redirect, refocus. Will put me in a place, okay, when you're facing oppression and negativity, what realm, what place to go to. You know what I mean? How to handle a situation. So,
and that's good. You have to have a real good spiritual covering. Or if it's not your pastor, your friends. Right. Because when Jesus, I use this example all the time, but when Jesus went out, he ain't take his brothers and sisters that he grew up with. Right. 12 new people. Well, come follow me. Like, he knew their hearts was ready, and he knew that, they had some stuff they needed to shift because Peter needed to be turned down a bit. But he had that, God knew that he would be the one that would step out and do what he had called him to do. But it wasn't who he grew up with. He did less miracles with in the town that he grew up with because they couldn't receive it. So you have to understand that when you're going somewhere, God will shift your circle. That's right. And you need people that will totally understand you. So where you are now, and then facing a lot of the oppression and the rejection and the no's, what advice would you give to yourself in that day that lady said that? I don't know if you want to go back to that day, but what advice would you give to yourself in that moment, seeing how God has used it and brought you full circle, even with the play, to be able to use that to help somebody else?
I would say, in critique, there's something in there that you can take from it. Mm-hmm. So I'm the type of person now, like, when I get critique, I check myself. I call it self-inventory. Mm-hmm. I do self-inventory of myself. Okay, what can I possibly do different? Mm-hmm. They may be coming from a negative place, but what is something that I can actually connect to on a positive so that the next time I get presented with an opportunity, I can go this way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So always try to take the bad and turn it good with readjusting something within my thinking, the way that I operate, the way that I speak, and going forth from there.
That's good. And I think that's also this year, like, just in general, like, if you keep going through the same thing, sometimes it is us. Not all the time. Right. It is like that was completely rude, but sometimes it is some things that we could work on. Right. And we like to put the blame on other people, or they rude, or they don't know me, blah, blah, blah. But if you keep getting the same critique, then, dog, maybe we need to go and pray about it and ask God what's going on. Right. God, are we good? Because there's nothing wrong. Like you said, self-inventory and doing an inventory check with the Lord. Right. We good? Like, I know I'm still here. I'm saved, but am I walking the way you want me to walk? Because we think that we are. People kind of think that they made it and they don't feel like they got to keep checking it, but you don't arrive. To me, I don't feel like I'm never going to arrive. Even when I'm before Jesus, I'm still going to be learning because I'm going to stalk him. He's going to be teaching me all day. So that's why he keep me down here so I can leave him alone. But I look forward to continuing to grow. There is growing here on earth, here in heaven as well. There's always, the devil is a liar. See, the devil is a liar, yo. They tried to kick us off. We're still on there. But it's definitely always, so I think that's positive. That's great that you can say there's always a positive, even in the midst of a negative situation. Absolutely. So we're going over to Shayna, and then we're going to kind of bring all y'all together. I'm going to see who's on here. Oh, my pastor's on here. I'm glad I said I had a spiritual covering. Hey, Pastor. Hey, Miss Bethany. That's my old teacher, y'all, from Bible college. What's up, Duke? Hey, Richard. Hey, Chrissy. So I'm just want to see if anybody said hi to y'all. So Taryn Caldwell says hello to all of you guys. And Shayna said, it's alive, sis. Tiara, you always laughing. I'm skipping over you. She said you had a cuss in your throat. That's what Ira says all the time. Many closed doors God uses to preserve the royalty we possess. Absolutely. That's right, if we choose. And so that's it. So we're going to move on over to Shayna, y'all. Hey, Michael. This is my cousin brother, Michael, over in China. He lives... Is it China? Are you in China or Japan? I don't... One of them, but he over there. One over there. We went to elementary school together. He has a baby on the way. Aww. So what's up, Brother Mike? So we're going to move over to Shayna. Shayna, your time in the hot seat.
Hey.
So, sis, can you share a little bit of your story with us as well growing up? Can you share a little bit of that? I'm sure you can share a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, I had an amazing family.
That's dope.
I mean, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I had amazing parents. I have amazing sisters. We don't have any brothers. And I think one of the best thing about growing up in my family was that we were infused with God, family, and music.
Mm.
And we weren't sheltered. We went to a primitive Baptist church, but our parents didn't just let us believe that was all to the kingdom. You know, first of all, they let it home. We had Bible studies and prayer meetings and all kinds of stuff, you know, at home, and we were taught how to pray and how to read the Bible, and we were taught that at home. And me and my sisters had a singing group called the Grace Ensemble. We were so dope. I was like 4 of them. It was. I think we did like a 3-city tour when I was in like junior high school or something. But you know, we had very encouraging parents. I was involved in any extracurricular activity that I ever asked to be in.
That's cool.
They supported all of us. Our family dynamic is a little unique in that I have a sister who is 17 years older than me.
Okay.
And then the other 3 of us are kind of like stair steps. So we kind of got the best of both worlds. We had the old parents. And then I had my sister that was kind of in the middle.
That's how it is for me.
And then I had my other 2 sisters who was like my cut buddies. And so, you know, it was, we grew up in the church. And then much later in like my high school career, my father became a pastor. He was always a deacon at the church. But it took him a minute. And we left the church that we grew up in. And he became a pastor somewhere between my senior year and me going into my freshman year in college.
Okay.
And so then I served in his church throughout my college career. And after college, I left. Looking for that voice that you and Kim were talking about earlier. No, you know, malice, no hate, no nothing, no family fallout, no family feud. It was nothing like that. But I just felt God pulling me to him. Because my dad was such a strong influence in my life that I realized at that age that I was listening for him and not for God. And he wasn't doing anything wrong. I just needed to find it for yourself. And so he reluctantly kind of supported the decision. But once I left, they always supported anything that I did at the church that I went to, which is where I am now, a True Servant Church over in Hamilton, New Jersey. And so that's kind of, you know, the top of the story. And then I got my bachelor's degree in engineering, and I have a kind of an eclectic background, really churchy, and kind of really I have 2 degrees, and then I got into theater in high school. So I worked a job for 16 years with the Department of Transportation in New Jersey. And then in 2013, they decided that they didn't want me to work for them anymore.
1 second, sis. Don't share this part. Only
Okay.
because they said they can't hear the sound, and I want to
They
make
can't
sure they
hear me?
hear you.
Okay.
Are you guys on there? Can you guys hear?
I don't know.
Can you hear her now, y'all?
Can you hear me?
I just want to make sure they hear you because this is good.
Hello? Hello? Can y'all hear me?
Can y'all hear it on?
Can you hear me? Hear me? No, somebody said no, I think.
Can you try keeping it?
Try closing it and opening it back up.
Can you hear me, Tiara? I just want to, because if they can hear you, we won't continue. I just want to make, because if you shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kathy, get your own phone. They can hear you. Go ahead, sis. I didn't want you. I'm like, if they missed this, I was going to be so mad. So go ahead, sis.
So,
I apologize, y'all. Okay.
and this
Thank
is-
y'all.
it
Go
was
ahead,
actually
sis.
pretty recent. It was in 2013.
Oh.
And I had a family, and my life is now what I thought blowing up.
Yeah.
And I was always a pretty resourceful person. So, you know, when things would go wrong, I have my job, and I was getting a check every 2 weeks, and if the car broke down or something like, so I could always learn to, I learned how to be able to manage my own crisis. But this crisis I couldn't manage, you know, and this also just became the tip of the iceberg for other mini crises that came after that. So that began the
your
process
relationship
for me
of the
for me to learn really that you gotta let some things go.
But what I love that you said was that you couldn't handle it.
No,
because that was me. I was the girl, like I don't have any children. I'm not married. I'll be 34, and so I've always been able to kind of like just freely go. I'm actually 10, 11, and 15 years older than my siblings, so I'm an only child from my dad. So I just run. So, and when I was going through things as a child, being molested and all that, I felt like God didn't know what he was doing. So I would do it. I would handle my money. I would give him a little bit. You can have that part, but all this over here, I'm going to handle it. And then when I couldn't handle it no more, he shoved me straight on my face, like, you ready now?
Yeah.
And that was 2012. It's actually kind of close to yours. And so that's pretty, so when did the word of God, because we talk about how we read the word, but when did it start reading you back? Because I know I had a read it back moment, like, oh, wait a minute, that's me in there.
See, now, this is the issue. Like I said a little earlier, that was the tip of the iceberg of the process for me. So the water started to recede around the iceberg, and a whole lot of other things started to be revealed. And I will honestly say that the word didn't start talking back until I learned to let go.
That's good.
God can't consume anything that you don't leave on the altar. Right? So I was still trying to, I can fix this. And I got it over here. And it wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong. It's just that God was like, but I want to have it for you. You're not broken enough for me.
Wow, that's good. You're not broken enough.
Broken enough.
Is that what I meant? Is it the season? I think something just clicked for me. Lord Jesus, wait a minute. That's
One
good.
thing I've learned about God is that he's not necessarily into the perfect pieces. You know, he'll put new wine in old wineskins. You know, and he'll take those cracked pieces and put them together and be the sealant and he can't use you if you're not broken.
And because Jesus was broken for and bruised for our iniquities,
He can't use you if you're not broken.
When he talks about, like, I think I gave this before. I remember somebody preaches about when Jesus broke the bread and he gave it out, but God didn't ask permission. But it also doesn't. So Jesus didn't break it up in perfect pieces.
No,
he broke the bread and he gave it out to him, and they were all different ways, but they were all still broken. And so that's good.
And when you look at any example of anybody that God ever used in the Bible,
everybody,
they all came with a set of criteria, but it wasn't until they were broken that God was able to use them.
And so let's to kind of stay in that place. What would be your definition of broken now that you are in this place? What would be your definition of broken?
For me, it's not going to be what it is for John.
I'm gonna ask him. Yep, that's what I'm going to ask him. Come on here.
For me, being broken meant loss. I lost a lot. My dad died. Then I lost my job. Then I lost my home. Then I lost my husband.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's enough. I got it.
Right. Right.
I'm good now, Jesus. I'm yeah, you got my attention now. You know, so it was a series because I kept trying to fix everything.
And mine is trying to fix everybody.
Right. I
Yeah,
kept
I was
trying to fix
everybody.
everything, and I wasn't recognizing the process for what it was. And we have to learn the difference between process and consequences.
That's good.
And consequences come with disobedience.
Yeah.
People always say, like, you know, oh, I'm disobedient. God is going. Listen, I have lived a 5 to 6 year season of consequences. Why? For one moment of disobedience. I know God was calling me when I was younger, when my grandmother passed away and my mom had a brain tumor and all that stuff started coming at you. But I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So it took me years to get to this place because I wouldn't let it go. Yeah.
And we were kind of talking in the car. One thing that I had a hard time with was I thought a lot of what I was going through were consequences, and they're not. You know, God is not going to say to me in 2014, oh, well, you did this back in 1997. That's not how God's love works, right? And I'm not going to go to jail for fornicating. You can't get pregnant from stealing. That's not the way consequences work, and that's not the way process works, and that's not the way the love of God works. And once I really realized how God's love works, and that what I was going through wasn't punishment, then I was like, okay, I see now. This is something that you want me to be broken into, that you can make me better than what I was
And empty
before,
all that stuff,
and empty out all the other stuff that I thought that I could, you know, ride on that bachelor's degree in engineering, that master's in business administration, that 16-year degree at the DOT. Like that was foundational for me. You know,
Which is exactly why he broke it, because he should be our foundation.
Yeah, and so it just, you know, it put me in a place where, you know, if I wasn't on the altar and at his feet, it just, and now I've learned how to take things sometimes moment by moment, sometimes day by day, but all things are in his hands.
Absolutely.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like, you know what, Lord, whatever it is today, don't let me freak out. If I don't know the answer at the end of the day, because you know the answer.
And I think that's something that we have to learn to do, is to live in this day and in this moment. And I say learn because I'm still learning. There's some days where I'm good, like, yeah, we're fine. And then it's something that'll take you till tomorrow when we're in this day. And God is with you. Yeah, it's daily bread. And it's like, there is a process, a part of the process today. There's something you need to get today. It's a part of the broken pieces and the brokenness that he's fixing today. And then tomorrow, he'll deal with the rest. And so we need to let that happen for today. Like, I remember being in a relationship and I'm like, can we just enjoy this day?
Right.
Like, I'm not in now, but that was always something. Like, we were always talking about tomorrow. I'm in today, dog.
Right.
I just want to have fun today.
Right now.
I mean, I totally believe that relationship kingdom, like marriage is kingdom, and you should definitely have you should have a plan, and y'all should be going somewhere. We shouldn't just be living in the moment all the time. But can I enjoy 2.5 moments and then we get to the
2.5.
let me have my minute. You know what I mean? It was always, we got to this and we gonna do this, and listen, dog, Jesus said this is the day, and I'm gonna enjoy this day. You going over there, I see you tomorrow. Like, you know what I mean? So that became my contention, because I wanted to live right now. I wanted God to speak to where we were, then deal with that, and then we'll get to the next part. You want to be dealing with like 85 things. So I understand it. I want to ask y'all too this before I ask her a question. What's your definition of broken? Well, let me pull it back. What's your definition of broken? I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Could you see it? Like, Jonathan?
I would definitely have to piggyback off of her, a loss. I too kind of went through similar circumstances of losing a home, losing a marriage.
Wow. Deron, I'm coming over to you. Get your answer, because I'm anxious too.
Yeah, so I would honestly say loss.
Yeah.
It's like a
Loss.
definition of...
Jesus lost his life when he was, we know he lives, but when he was broken.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on here, Holy Spirit. You trying to run out? Divine?
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Divine gonna try to run when I try to ask him about broken, y'all. Ira. Go ahead. You want to hear?
So I think basically my definition of broken is just like the end of yourself. Like, basically you have to get to the end of yourself, the end of your resources, and realize that God is the source. And once you get over yourself, He can build you back up into what you were intended to be, not what you made yourself into.
Not what you made yourself into. That's good.
That is good.
That's good. And that's actually something Kelly, she said, jobs and degrees become our identity, and that isn't what He wants. What we think we are, who we make. I did this. I got this job. I studied this. So
The thing is, I always was able to be there, you know, but that was my first lesson of in the School of Civil Engineering in 19...
she don't want to tell us the year, y'all.
Institute of Technology, and So, and I had a lot of things that happened. I had professors say things like, "Oh my God, it's such an experience to have her in class." Why? You know,
right.
You know, so I had to learn early not to depend on myself to get through school. I mean, just try to sabotage projects and assignments and stuff because they didn't want, you know, to see the black girl get ahead. But it for me though, once I got all that stuff, because you know, I was always so self-sufficient. My parents always affirmed us in everything that we always did. You know, they made us very self-reliant young ladies. I just relied on it too much.
That's good.
I just relied on myself too much.
I actually wanted to ask you a question about this. So you said that you lost a lot, and a lot of people lost. We take, like you guys kind of talked about loss, but in this place that you are with God and knowing who He is and what He's doing in you, can you give advice to somebody and sharing what you gain out of so-called loss, but it's actually a gain when you gain that relationship? So can you give advice to someone that might feel like they're losing, they lost all this stuff? It's actually a gain.
One of the first lessons I learned about that I gained from loss is learning how to grieve. Grief is not the process of grief is not only necessary when someone dies. The process of grief is necessary when you lose something.
Yes, it is.
Whatever that loss may be.
Yes,
and if you don't allow yourself to go through that process of grief, you're going to find yourself in a hole or in a rut and resentful and constantly bitter or something when you lose a relationship, or when I found out I couldn't have children if I didn't allow God to process me in that grief. That was probably the first lesson I learned. Is that grief
I'm glad you said that.
The process of grief is necessary in loss, no matter what the loss is. And
That's
if
good.
you don't allow yourself to do that, you're giving yourself a disservice. It's a disservice if you don't allow yourself to go through the process of grief. And I think the second thing that I've learned is that God's grace is sufficient. It is sufficient to cover every space that you feel now might be empty. It more than covers it. And it gives you space to be whatever you need to be in that time and go through that process. God's grace is sufficient. It's sufficient for, and I'm glad that that's where the period is, because it can be sufficient for anything. You know, there's no after that. That's it. You know, you can apply that sufficiency and that grace to every area of your life. And the other thing that I've learned is that it's all right to be alone sometimes.
It's a great time to be alone sometimes. Yeah.
Yes. And you get to know God.
Yes.
You know, and I would say probably the final thing is that all relationships are have process and they change. So you just like your relationship with your husband, your boyfriend, your kids, your friends, your parents, your sisters, your relationship with God should be like those relationships. They should change. You should learn more about Him, as time goes on, and that's important when, especially when you've had loss. You have to know that relationship with God can grow. You can't put Him in a box. You can't keep Him in that one space all the time. Right. So I think those are probably the things that I've learned.
I think it's funny because I was sharing with a girlfriend of mine the other day about, you know, the loss of our relationship. God had me giving her some advice, and I talked about grieving, and I shared what God said to me. How long you gonna mourn Saul? Because I have a David for you. And then it was funny because he kept taking me to stuff, and they would talk about how long you gonna mourn Saul. I'm like, I get it, Holy Spirit, but I was okay with that. But like loss, like you said, like a relationship things, that it doesn't mean that somebody necessarily died, but the idea of it has died. It's done. God said no. leave it alone and keep it moving, but we want to stay in that place. And I love how the Bible tells us that blessed are those who mourn.
Yes.
Because in the midst of mourning, you meet God in a place that you would never be able to meet him in any other place. And I met God in that broken place and the loss of everything better than I ever did happy, so to say. So we say what happy is. I'll never trade that.
Yeah.
And so blessed are those who mourn. You know, Jesus wept, like, but it, you know, it wasn't, people don't understand, like, he gives us his essence. He gives us all of the characteristics of who he is. We are made in the image of God, and he wept. And it's okay to cry, but he didn't stay in that place. He kept it moving. So you grieve and you move on. And I'm dealing with a friend, she lost her mom, and I told her, I'm never going to tell you how long it is for you to grieve. I'm just going to help you to walk out the process. Because there's something on the other side of that. But it's blessed are those who mourn, because now you imagine every day to be a holy God and love all of these people, and everybody not going to be with you forever because they don't choose you. And they will burn forever. You don't think God grieves for that? He loves them too. The same people that's outside cursing you out and all that, God loves them. And he mourns every time he loses a soul. And that's continual. Now, we can't even handle this. This is every day. This is somebody dies, whatever. Somebody just died right now. Like, you know what I mean? So this is all the time. Like, it's the truth. Like, we look at it like we're in this season. This is a season for him forever. Even in the end times when Jesus comes back, how does it feel? It's like you leaving your child outside and you can't never see them again. But this is him. So we can't handle this, and he has to handle that. So if he can handle that, you can handle that, and you can do it in his peace. So I love that you said the grief, because that was like, Lord Jesus, I had to learn that. So in this season, like, all of you guys are, and I'm going to kind of go step by step. What do you guys feel is next? Anybody can answer first. Where do you feel God is calling you in this season? Not even just with the play, with all that you've learned from so much. Where do you feel God is calling you guys in this season? You want to start here?
Everybody on the spot.
Oh, you want me to put the Divine said that for you?
You asking about the broken?
Oh yeah, I did. You tried to run.
No, I was trying
to run.
She needed a cord. So
Go ahead.
I actually asked God the beginning of this year, and I'm not trying to say it was a New Year's resolution. It wasn't. Allow me to hit the reset button in my life. Redirect me, redirect my focus. Those things that are going to challenge me this year. Allow me to have the courage and the strength to go through whatever grieving processes may come with it. You know what I mean? Allow myself to feel what I feel, so that I can actually move forward. So
that's a good thing. At least you ain't say like, I'm about to start. You know, people be like, I'm about to start. So that was good. That's good. Go ahead.
I don't know what's next. I mean, I know what he's shown me, and I know what the vision is, and I think part of my process is not trying to anticipate the next step. I know what the bigger picture is. I know what he's shown me that he wants for my life in ministry and things like that. But I'm still walking that part out. I'm writing the vision so that he can make it more plain for me. So that's where I am with things right now. Being more alert and attuned to his voice, and so I can hear very clearly what he wants me to do, not just, you know, on a bigger scheme of things, but, you know, shorter term, you know, how long should I be working this job, and should I stay here? Do you need me to move? Do I need to move? Like shorter, you know.
That's good.
It's not all about the platform always. It's not all about, you know, how many thousands am I going to preach to. It might be just, you know, God, should I buy this car? You know, so
but he wants to be in every aspect of that, so that's good. That's good.
So that's where I am.
Okay. How about you?
So I feel like God is in this season, he is establishing me. So throughout my 20s, and it was kind of like haywire being established with my husband, and then I had my daughter, then got married. But just kind of like all over the place, and not letting my yes be yes, my no be no. Just kind of like, you know, in other aspects. So I feel like he's established me as a wife, teaching me what it is to actually be a wife and not what it appears to be. Right? You know what I mean? Being genuine at home, and you know, being an example for my daughter. being more bold. Because I'm quiet. I keep to myself. Even if I don't necessarily agree with you, I might just smile and be like, okay. You know what I mean? But having known God and grow in God and say, you know what? God has more for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And challenging people where they are, pulling people from where they are out of their comfort zones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you want to do that, but you're supposed to be over here.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I get you to where you're supposed to be? It's not always about just getting yourself where you need to be. Like, how can you contribute to other people? And that's what I'm trying to do
That's
in this
good.
season as well. Like, how can I impact other people's life? You know what I mean? Because everybody doesn't have somebody to cover them, to pray with them, to believe with them, to push them. You take it for granted. Like, my family, biggest supporters, like, they are the bomb.com, but not everybody
I don't have
has
that, yeah.
Not everybody has it. So I take responsibility. Like, if I call you my friend, all right, let's go. What do you want out of life? And if your friends don't challenge you and don't know what you want out of life, then you need to.
Then you need to change your friends.
You need to move to
Listen,
I can't be doing the same.
I think my circle has shifted like 80 times in these last 5 years. And when jumping back to Jonathan, because Devon's going to ask you a question, but I want to piggyback off of what he said. That was kind of like, that was it for me this season when I came into this year. I was on my face. Okay, Lord, we fast and praying. Like, what do you want? And my prayer was to remove people that were not for me, because I was getting it time and time again. Everybody ain't for you. Everybody, okay, God, remove them. And when I asked him, I did ask for him to remove it quickly. I lost a lot of people. I didn't lose. I gained because they're gone. They weren't for me. So I was losing with having them there. But God removed a lot of people within the last 12 months. And just being able to be in that place now of being okay with that and pressing forward. But that was my prayer. Remove any vipers, people that came in my as family or friends, like, that's not really for me. Remove them. Gone. We only in February. I'm cool with that.
Right.
And stay where you are. And I used to be like, y'all use that block button, child. I was blocking everything and everybody. Like, the devil is a lie, block. You know what I mean? Like, so, but I had to really, because out of space, I don't even get to see you. I can't gossip about you. I can't feel no type of way because I don't even know that you exist any longer. Right. That season is dead. Kind of like what you said on some lot stuff. I'm not looking back. I ain't gonna be turning into no pillars of salt because I got things to do. But that was my prayer. God, remove them. And I'm telling y'all. So if y'all scared to let people go, y'all better not send that prayer up, because you better get ready for your cousins and aunties and them to be gone. Okay, there we go. My phone keeps going. Go ahead, Devon.
Ready?
Yeah, my phone keep acting crazy.
I just wanted to ask you, did you feel any doubt when that lady told you, or when they told you that they didn't even want to look at you for the part? And if you did feel any doubt, how were you able to overcome that? Don't answer yet. I'm gonna ask all three of your questions. I'm gonna give you time to think. The one in the middle,
Gina.
nice looking young lady.
Thank you for the young friend. I appreciate that.
When you were, when all those obstacles were popping up in your life, how were you able to overcome them? Did you ever feel like giving up?
Okay.
That's a question for you. And I forgot her name, but the
Kim.
one sitting right next to you, Kim.
Sister Kim.
What is the overall message of your plays? And let's just say, what if somebody wanted to get in your field? What advice would you give to them? And okay, I'll leave it that simple.
Somebody want to get. So we're gonna start first with Jonathan. For the first question, yours was dealing with doubt and rejection. Did doubt kind of kick in of who you are?
When they told you what they told you?
I can honestly say yes, it did. As soon as I got my car, I was just like, oh, dang, maybe I should cut my locks. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And what was so crazy is, a week later, I went to a church service down there, and a pastor got on the microphone and started talking about people with locks. How dirty they were.
Really?
How dirty they were. How negative it were. It was a terrible time. But I knew that God was actually making and breaking me at that point.
Yeah.
Because it was doing something to challenge my character. So the second part of that question, to answer it.
How did you overcome
How do you overcome that?
How to overcome the doubt? Like I said, maturity. Self-inventory is something that I pride myself on. You know what I mean? I'm one that I don't sit there and have pity parties like, well, do you think I should do? I really sit there. Okay, God, what is it that I need to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Should I cut them? Should I change it up a little bit?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We gravitate to what people are doing. Like draws like. We gravitate to that, not knowing the full circle of what it could bring. You know what I'm saying? So
I understand the whole, look thing because I deal with it. I talk about that all the time. They completely, I don't, like, the church doesn't receive me well.
Right.
And then when God has me speak, I know, like, he has me speak a lot. It can be expectation, and I know how I am. Like, I used to be in the street, so I know, listen, I turn up. Jesus said, that's it, bye. You know what I mean? Like, so I give it to you. So he's working with me on gentleness. He had me teach on gentleness a couple weeks ago. So I know I can not be the most gentle person.
Right.
And I'm also the oldest sister. Like by 15, so you kind of like, that's how you talking, like mommy said, or get her, like, so that's how I am. But I'm growing.
Right.
But I dealt with the whole, I was almost afraid to actually, I'm gonna be honest, to go on TV because they would tear my self-esteem down so much. And I'm grateful that I did because I know that people are coming to Christ. But I was afraid. And then I dealt with, I was dealing with bulimia. Like, I used to be heavy when I was younger. I didn't throw up, but I did laxative. I just got delivered from that last August. I didn't even realize I had bulimia. The Holy Spirit was like, one day, so they can all see you. One day I was sitting and I was talking to the Lord, and he was like, you ready to deal with what this really is? I'm like, what you mean? That's how God talked to you. This is the real issue. I kept going to the doctor. They could not figure out what was wrong with my stomach. I would eat something, my stomach would expand, and people wouldn't be able to see it to them, but if I showed them from the side, I would look almost pregnant. And I had 5 boys years ago. It was crazy. I had like over 35. It was all this stuff. And God was like, you need to deal with the root of this. And it's rejection. You still feel like that rejected little girl that was raped. And you need to stop. And then being on TV, it was like, it bordered on pie. Like, I got to take these pictures. Stomach got to be flat.
Right.
Nothing. Empty.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I totally understand that. But to God be the glory that he delivers us. But I understand that whole doubt thing. Like, maybe I shouldn't because. So I understand it perfectly. More than you know. Shayna.
Yes, ma'am. So the first part was, did I ever feel like giving up?
And overcoming the adversity.
Absolutely. For me though, giving up was, I'm not going nowhere. Bump a job, bump an apartment, bump a responsibility, bump all that. I ain't got, bump it.
She's such a good saint, y'all. Bump that.
Bump. That wasn't what I said at the time. But, I had times when I was angry with God and angry with myself.
Yeah.
I felt like I had let myself down. Felt like I had let my parents down. So yes, giving up was definitely something that I wanted to do because it felt like it would have been easier.
That's good.
I'm glad you did.
Me too, because I'm pretty dope. But one of the things I will say that helped me with that is that I have a dope village.
Amen.
My family is.
That's good. Y'all got that.
Yo, like I'm the youngest in the family. Okay. So I have nieces who are in their bless y'all in their 30s. God bless them. I love them, and they are the sweetest, most loving. Like I can have a relationship with them as adult women that has really blessed my life over the past few years. Shaquana and Jasmine and Ashley and Yakima and Farron and Najwa. Those are my nieces, and they are absolutely amazing. And they all, I don't even know if they know this, but they all kind of have poured into me in ways that have built me up and made me stronger, and they also reminded me that I have to be an example for them.
That's right. Yeah, because they watching you.
And my sisters are, we're such, if you were to see us all together, you would probably think we were adopted because we don't look alike at all, but we got the same mama and daddy, I promise. And they pray for me when I don't know that they're praying for me. They call me and support me. They'll come and visit. They'll, so that was very helpful. Because
that's good.
One thing about the enemy when it comes to process is that he likes to try to keep you in darkness because that's where he does his best work, right? And if you can't see the light because you have so much going on, sometimes people need to bring the light to you. And my family brought the light to me.
That's good.
And that was, that was amazing. And then I have these 4 friends who I've had for a long time, and they were very instrumental in making sure that I didn't slip too far into the darkness. you know, and they reminded me of all the things that my parents taught me and what I know about God and what I know about myself. And so those were the things that helped me get up through those moments of wanting to give up.
Amen.
You know, and they brought the light to me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Kim, your question, and then I got a question for y'all before we close out. Go ahead, Kim.
All right.
She got her book, y'all. That's how you know she writes.
Everybody
She want her
question
question there.
right? He started asking me these questions. I said, let me write these down.
Go ahead, Kim.
So overall message in my plays is inspiration and ability to overcome life situations. So no matter how real it gets, God is just as real, and He can find you wherever you at.
That's good.
So that's what I try to portray. You know, if somebody's really going through something, if it's rape, if it's abuse, if it's you know, dysfunction, I want to show how it really is to the best of my ability, because people need to see what's real. You know what I mean? They need to feel their reality and know that God can visit that place. And then anybody who wants to get into the production industry as far as theater, I would tell them the first thing is consistency. A lot of people is just like up in there, I want to be a singer, oh I want to write, oh I want to do this, oh like you're scatterbrained. You know what I mean? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So like, what do you want to do?
Right.
Because they want to do what other people want to do instead of what they're called to do. Do what you're called to do.
Right. If you want to get into the industry, like build your craft, do research, like
Serve.
invest in relationships, serve, submit to God. Did you consult Him about it?
Right.
Like, is this
Like,
something
amen.
you just came up with? Like, trace your history. Like, has there been patterns all along? Like, I knew that I would scribble. Like, when I was young, I always found a piece of paper, no matter where it was, I would scribble. And when I was alone, I would always write my emotions down. And then it took me to like later in my life where I opened a box and found my journals. And I'm like, well, gosh darn. I've been writing all this stuff. I've been writing all this time. But if you would have told me that I would be where I am right now, I would be in honest disbelief. But it took consistency. Like when I did my first show, like, these guys helped me out, you know what I mean? Like they gave me a shot, and but it was consistency and doing the work. Like I believe if anybody's going to take time and invest their craft in what I'm doing, I need to give them a platform that's worth standing on.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
That's right. You can't and that's good because a lot of people kind of feel like we are part of God using to give the platform, but it's not about us. And you have to serve at the same time they're serving.
Right.
So I see you put submit and serve. So I wanted to ask you guys this last question. All three, I'm going to give all three of you one is going to just kind of be like not the same question before we end out. So I'm going to start with you, Jonathan. Let's see what God wants me to say. So the scripture is James 4:6-10. I'm just going to jump through it and see. Okay. This is the last part of the scripture. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will exalt you. How have you seen that scripture be relevant in your life? That's your one. That's your part. Humility.
I would definitely say being obedient. Being obedient, making a sacrifice of, going certain places, doing certain things, and God truly just opening up doors. Like, to just brag for like 2 seconds, I'm now a program manager for behavioral health.
Amen.
I'd never seen this facet seen this line of work coming my way, but I could truly say, like, being obedient, making those sacrifices, God is like, I'm opening up doors for you. You know what I mean? And also piggybacking off of something that you said, He'll put you in places to minister to people. You know what I mean? So I can
see in behavioral health.
Yeah.
That is a mission field. That's a mission field, and I don't know if I'm on that mission.
No.
Listen, because I got the old spirit of a choke a child down spirit. I don't know if that's in the Word of God, but it's in my part. I've added a comma in the Revelation and said, and choke a child down.
That's what it said.
I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
So God bless you. But that was good. That was good. Shayna, yours is okay. Let's see. Okay. Here's mine for you. Be wretched and mourn and weep, but let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. So how have you seen that? I'll read it again. Be wretched and mourn and weep, Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. So how have you seen that to be true in your life with all you're going to do? Y'all better stop laughing because y'all know I ain't playing.
Well, I mean, it goes back to that, light being brought to you in those times when I couldn't see the light for myself. My family and my friends they're really amazing. I mean, I can't say it enough. If y'all were to meet them, y'all would love them. I promise.
I know.
But yes, Kim knows them. But we're a comical group of people, and one thing I've learned about laughter, it says in the word that it's the broom that sweeps away the cobwebs of the heart. So if you allow it to, when it's appropriate and when it's time, and even when it's not appropriate sometimes, I can look at some of the situations that I've gone through now, not all of them, and laugh and be like, yeah, that's funny, kind of, when you think about it. And it's allowed me to get to the point where I can see that God has a purpose for everything, a process, and that how that process works, and I've also learned that to whom much is given, much is required, and I was given a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, between what our parents instilled in us, and my education and my experience and God has given me a lot, and so I had to remember that those things are all important, and allow it to just not be wasted in the process, or in the darkness.
That's good, not to let it be wasted, because a lot of people kind of be like, I don't have a story, or all I went through was
right. Yeah,
you went through something, and it's for somebody else. So that's absolutely
and
awesome.
It's so funny because people say all the time, "Oh, you had such a wonderful family. You don't have anything to complain about."
Crazy,
but I can't imagine going through what I went through without them.
Right.
Like if I came from a broken home or something, and I had to go through the level of loss that I went through without these people, I'd probably be crazy dead or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so God gives you the tools that you need to get through the process, and you don't even know it at the time, but
And family or friends can be the tools.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like you said, like they'll call you and they'll love on you, or they'll just give you a hug, and the Lord will send your kids over to you and hug you, or whatever the case may be. So I understand it to be well. Last one, Kim. Yours is, okay. Submit yourselves, therefore. No, I'm going to get it. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. That's yours.
You saying that
how you seeing that apply to your life as far as drawing near to God? He'll draw near to you.
God is a gentleman, and so He's not going to push Himself on you. He's not going to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. So I had to get to the end of myself and draw to Him and reach out my hand to Him, and He never let my hand fall. Whenever I reached out to Him, He picked me up, and He did just what He needed to, when He needed to, how He needed to. If it was He spoke something to me, dropped a song in my spirit, just His presence, His spirit. But you have to reach out to God first, because there's no forced relationships here. He ain't gonna force nothing. He wants to know that you love Him as much as He loves you.
And that's good, because that's the extension part of that. We have to extend our hand back. God is always nudging our hearts, but we do have to extend our hand back. And it's like, I love that, because it's like such a gentle moment where it's like when you reach over to your kids, like, come on. And you're like, okay. Like, it's kind of like that moment, but we do have to extend our hand back. And so it is a choice. And people like to make it seem like it's not, but it is. He's not going to force Himself on you.
Right.
And He has given us free will, but freely we've been given. But He, if you don't want it, there's a lot of us that do. And we're all here. We wanted it. We knew that there was something that we didn't have, and there was something greater, and we reached out for it, and He gave it back, which is salvation. Mine is. Y'all want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Turn it around. How about this? Because reading is
it.
fundamental. I'm telling y'all, reading is fundamental. Hit the button at the top. Mine is, God opposes the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. Because I was the prideful. I think pride, my picture should have been in that definition. I'm telling you, I was so prideful. I just was so caught up in myself, in the why me. I was a why me. Why. That was always me. Why this, why that. And you did this for them and they don't talk to you and don't I deserve enough. And I remember when I really submitted to the Lord, that it was 2012, my aunt sent me a birthday card, and she said, this year God wants to give you wisdom and to teach you how to stop complaining. Mm-hmm. Now, that wisdom, I didn't know everything was about to be stripped, and I was going to learn some things and learn how to be humble, but I had to be humble first before I could even hear the rest of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But I was a complainer. Even now, I have to catch myself like, okay, wait a minute. God is still good, you know, okay, wait a minute. Because people call you, girl, how you doing? You know, because and I'm like, I'm sorry. You know, like, I have to catch that, but that was mine. God opposes the proud. And there was a lot of times that I knew that he was with me, but I knew that I was going through some stuff because I wouldn't submit. Right. I just wouldn't let it go. And so I totally understand it. So if you were watching, we have a couple minutes left. First thing is that everybody in here is a process. And I'll let, if you just came on, hey, Aaron. Hey, Alicia. It's my girl down in Texas. This is everybody here, including myself. So everybody in here, I know you, Tiara. Yes, you do. Yes, you do got that issue. That's why I be on your bed. To God be the glory, though. But Tiara's awesome, y'all. Awesome worship singer. But please understand that everybody has a different experience, but we all lead up to the same road, which is Christ. We all have been saved by the one, the one, not these, that's, cousins and commas and all that other stuff they want to put in there. Jesus is the only way to the Father. I'm sorry. So all them little things that you following, all them little tambourines and stuff, no bells y'all singing, them chants and them little candles y'all playing, it ain't gonna happen. Jesus is the only way to the Father. He is our propitiation. He is died for your sins, but he loves you. He knows that you are going to be in this place right now. He allowed them to be here for you to hear their story, for you to understand that you're not the only one going through what you're going through, but he still loves you at the end of the day. Stop laughing, Tiara. And so what you need to understand is that there's nothing that you can do that he won't love you. Mm-hmm. He loves you just the way that you are, but he does desire to enhance things in you to use it for his glory. But you have to allow him to do it. Like she talked about earlier, giving that hand back and allow him to submit. When you talk about submitting and like allowing yourself to understand there's no condemnation in him. You just are called to be with the dreads, with the tattoos, with anything that whatever way God has made you, with me, with the blue lipstick and this blonde hair. He's made you just like this to reach a certain people. There's people that they can get that I can't, and there's people that I'm going to get to that they will not. We are assigned to people, and that's just it. And when your assignment's over, where are you going to go? Even still now, if you don't know Christ, he can use you, but will those people go to heaven, and where will you go after? You have to think of that. And so I would just implore you to understand that God put you here because this is the day that he knew that you were going to meet him here today. The Holy Spirit does his job well. He nudged your heart. He had you get on Facebook. He had you tap on this place. You probably never even heard of me. Yep. Might never see me again. But I pray that we would be in the kingdom together. So if you don't know Christ, I would simply invite you to say, Lord, I'm a sinner. We all here. Everybody in here, everybody watching. This is just simply it. Lord, I'm a sinner. I invite you into my heart. I ask you to forgive me for my sins. I ask, Lord God, that you would come into my heart and you would lead me, Lord. I don't know what you're calling me to do, but I know that there's something greater than myself. Lord, I believe that you are the Son of God. You died with all power in your hands. And from this day forward, I choose to walk it out with you. And I say it every week, confetti. And the angels is rejoicing because we're going to see you in the kingdom. Now, I don't know if you're going to be on the side where I'm going to be at. It's going to be 75 degrees like today. On that side. Now, if you want 95 degrees, sorry, see you another time. I ain't going to be on that side too hot. But I'm going to be on the side where it's nice weather. But as long as we in it together, you know, I'll catch you on the other side of worship. But I would pray that you really do take that prayer serious. There's no direct salvation prayer. It's just directly allowing God to come into your heart and just continue to walk this thing out with him. You might have to say it again. Everybody here, I backslid. Listen here, I laid out again. Lord, I'm sorry, I won't do it. And I did it again. Lord, I won't, and I did it again. So he's married to the backslider, but he led you here today because he loves you. So if, in fact, you have never accepted Christ and you said that prayer, we welcome you into the kingdom. If you don't know, we would implore you to keep watching. Speak to somebody that knows Christ because he loves you. But God truly is with you, and he is doing a new thing in earth, and I ask that you don't miss it because he wants to use you to do it. God is about to bring forth a revival. I'm telling y'all. And there's a part that you have to play in it. But if you don't want to play the part, there is somebody that will. And so I hope that we're going to all be out there together. I ain't going to have no crazy picket signs, but I got a loud voice talking about Jesus. So I pray that you have accepted him into your heart. I am grateful for you guys being here. Where can they actually find you guys? Wait a minute, y'all. Y'all know. Come on now, tap. There we go. Where can they find you? We'll start here with Kim. Where can they find you on social media? We got a couple minutes left. I want to make sure they can keep up with you guys individually.
So for all updates, you can follow me on Facebook at Kim S. Warren Productions. Also, my Instagram page, Kim S. Warren Productions. That's where we give all of our updates, casting calls, and events that we have going on.
Amen. Amen. Reggie.
On Facebook, you can follow me at Shayna Bradley Miller. Instagram, I'm Bradley Girl for Life. And you can see me on March 24th in More Than Meets the Eye.
Hey!
Come on here and promote that play.
At 7 p.m.
Oh, man, I ain't even got to touch it. I was like, y'all should have seen. Wait, there's a ticket. There's a
So if
ticket.
you want to see me again in person, you can come to the play.
Amen. And Jonathan, where can they find you?
You can follow me.
Come in, y'all.
There it is.
Come in, y'all.
Oh, she got it right there.
Here you go. Come in, y'all.
Boom.
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 Yeah, we about to come in. Go ahead, Jonathan. Where can they find
You
you?
can follow me at Jonathan Rogers on Facebook and JDaniels86 on Instagram.
You heard that, 86.
More Than
J
Meets the
Daniels
Eye.
86, and you know you guys can keep up with me. I'm Zarina Lomax on Facebook, Zarina Lomax 33 on Instagram, and Talking to Wealth. You guys can like the page, like and share. If you know somebody that you may have heard it, like and share it. If not, I pray that you would take this message and you would give it back out to somebody. It doesn't matter to me, as long as people get to Jesus. This is the ticket. I got a free ticket. This has perks. So, if you guys are interested, there are actually giveaways. You guys can actually, there is not nothing. Actually, I don't even know what to offer y'all. I don't even know how to do giveaways, y'all. I'm gonna put up a question and I'm gonna make sure that y'all watch something that individually some of them said that was impactful, and you have to answer it. And for the 4 people that get it, you will go see them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be sitting next to you because I got a ticket too, and mine's free. And so I thank you guys so much for watching. Please keep it locked here every Wednesday from 8 to 9:30 and Saturday on TV, 66 and 966 Comcast, 29 and 30 Verizon. And that is Talking to Wealth TV. To God be the glory that He has opened up doors in TV and radio. I am grateful. Y'all guys watch it every single week. And you guys bless me. So up next we have As One with Ira and Divine Warren. And this is them here. Say bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
All right. So keep it locked, y'all. As I come out, tapping the Ira and Divine's page, they up next. All right. So thank y'all guys so much for watching. And that's right. We spell a girl trip together. We going. To God be the glory. And I'll see y'all next week.